I wanted to talk about my personal experience with the GATE program. So I was in a version called Leap Thinkers. It was in like the early 2000s, or no, it'd be about late 2000s. I was in third grade, I believe. So that was 2009. Um, so I didn't know for a long time what it was. I thought it was weird because they told me, especially because they brought me into the program late. It was like a few months after the school year had started, and then they told me that I was going to go into this program, and I think some kids in another class were in the previous year had already been going for a year. So I had a sense as if like I thought about this a lot in my like when I was in elementary, that the classes were split up very particularly. Um, like I noticed, especially in second grade, that um, yeah, sorry, it was second grade that I was put in. But in second grade, I noticed that the kids in my class versus the kids in the other second grade class had kind of different like proclivities in a different way, in a certain way. But I couldn't really identify or explain to myself what that was, and I still don't know. At this point, I don't remember. It's a long time ago. But my second grade teacher, I remember she told me that I was going into this Leap Thinkers group, and she didn't really like lay it on thick like I'm special or something. But I remember asking like, "What do you mean though? Like I didn't feel like my grades were." I mean, I did get high grades, but it was easy. School was just it's second grade. It's not that hard. I did struggle with some concepts. I would often argue with teachers, and in kindergarten and first grade, I argued a lot. It's kind of a little asshole. I wouldn't have wanted to teach me, I think. So, you know, it was funny because second grade was kind of the first year I didn't really argue that much. I think my first grade teacher had managed to kind of cool me down and get me to go with the program. I don't know, maybe I was a little rebel against the NWO, bullshit school system. But I liked my first grade teacher, is what it came down to. I think it's funny that I've kind of come to the same point now of like hating systems, but eventually like I like the people, so it's like, and then if you like the people, like the system isn't that bad. It's kind of also hard to dislike people who think they're doing the right thing. I don't know. Anyways, um, so I kept asking like, how do I get into this program? Like, I can't imagine how I was sorted out to be put into this. And she kind of was like, she kind of blew me off. Like she really didn't want to answer. Um, she said something at first, but I really wasn't satisfied by her answer. So I'm like, no, no, what is it? What is this thing I can develop in myself? So then I get into the group, and the we did these. So first of all, we did these weird logic puzzles where it was verbal. We the teacher said, okay, I'm going to give you a scenario, and you're going to keep telling me things. I'm going to tell you irrelevant, or I'm going to give you an answer, like of what this means. And it was just these really bizarre, like I remember one time a guy murdered his wife in this story, and we had to piece it together. And he just gave us these clues, and we had to piece together from the clues and keep. I think it was something like that. Maybe I'm misremembering. Something like that stood out to me, or maybe I just that's what I thought the conclusion was going to be because my parents watched a bunch of murder mystery stuff, and I was disappointed that it ended up being something else. I can't remember at this point, but it was these crazy like mind puzzles. It wasn't like a simple one like practically a joke. Some people think they're clever and they're telling these these obtuse little riddles. It was a lot like that. Like I'll tell one right now. On a street, there's a red house, a blue house, and a green house. The red house is made out of red brick. The blue house is made out of, I'd say red, brown, and green. The red house is made out of red brick. The brown house is made out of brown brick. What's the green house made out of? And you're supposed to say green brick, and then you're like, haha, no, it's made out of glass because it's a greenhouse. That was sort of like the style of it, but they're like way weirder than that with way more steps. And so I heard online that from a video that it was supposed to, pick out people with like psychic potential. I think that the stories made a lot of sense from that perspective. I remember one time there was one that no one could get, and I got it. I think it was in that class. So that was cool. But we just did that, and we learned about philosophers. Unless my memory is like been somehow messed with, and I forgot most of the class, but I don't think so. I was asking DeepSeek about it, and DeepSeek maybe suggested that maybe it was more about identifying us than like actually teaching us something. I think that rings true. I don't. It didn't feel like they were trying to teach us something in particular. It was really bizarre in that sense. I thought they were trying to develop in us some kind of like unusual skills, or like who knows what. But even from the first time I was at the class, I was sort of a little bit disappointed, because it was just like these bizarre mind games, and then they had what is it? We also talked about Socrates and Confucius, and I have no idea why we did that. Didn't like, I'm reading up on Plato now, or reading Timaeus and Critias, reading that now. So like I found out about this not long ago, like that's what that class was, the GATE program, and then I met someone that is like telling me all about Plato and stuff. So maybe I'm getting groomed again for something. I don't know. Anyways, another thing that stood out to me is I remember the pink liquid that we only got once, and I don't remember getting it in that class. I remember getting it at some other point, or like we went somewhere else and did it. Like it wasn't so connected, and I just wonder if, or was it? I don't remember. I do remember the pink liquid, and I remember having a feeling that like this is bad, and my spirits told me not to, like, just to go ahead and drink it, or else it was going to make things worse for me, and it was going to be like yeah. So but after I drank it, I really held my consciousness fast, and like now that I know things about meditation, I kind of understand more what I was doing more intuitively then. But yeah, so that might be why I have more memory of it than, like, I feel like the memory thing has to do with the drink somehow, because I remember my spirits, like I remember having a feeling like whatever this is really bad, but my spirits just told me to drink it, or because it wasn't worth whatever the consequences of rejecting it would have been. So I think it would have been something like I would have stood out. Like I really just wanted to just refuse it. And like I said, I was a bit of a stubborn asshole as a kid, especially then. But yeah, so makes me wonder too if me being so stubborn in previous years is sort of part of what made me stand out, made them see like, oh, there's something different about him. That would make a lot of sense if I was just at a deep consciousness level rejecting the programming or something. Because I think everyone in public schools gets programmed. Probably even private schools are not that different. So Yeah, interesting stuff. I felt like there's one other thing that I was thinking about. Also, I have a friend that said he was also in a similar program here in Slovenia. So uh, that I figured it would be an international thing. Yeah. Oh yeah. I remember people talked about playing with the game Senet. And I looked up what it looked like. I remember them being on the shelf, but we never played it. I remember looking at it and being like, "What is that? That looks so cool. I want to play it. Come on. We gonna play it today. We gonna play it today." You know, that was going on in my head, but we never got them. So I felt there's a lot of the times people like the teachers or whatever had shit on the shelves that I was so curious about, and but I don't know, maybe my spirit guides kept me from asking, just like they told me to drink the drink. Um, I'm glad I didn't, because I think I would have stood out a lot more then. I think that was the point. Or like I would make these like boneheaded mistakes at times. I think a lot of the times that was also me being protected, because now I have a handle on I have Pichudosh, which means spirits can manipulate me a lot. They can come through to me a lot in a way they can't to other people. So, this can make someone kind of a jinx, like tripping over stuff all the time, things going wrong around them all the time, etc., etc. So, yeah. Also, yeah, Senate. So there's Senate. I mentioned that. I remember too. We went to this special room, not as the gate program, but for our yearly hearing test. We went and we got on the machines and we did the beep beep beep. Um, I remember seeing the. I saw a picture of the ones that are supposed to be like the binaural ones. The I don't know. They're a special machine created by the one dude that would do the binaural beats and do astral projection. I remember seeing those machines and being like, "What are those?" and feeling like a heaviness about them. I only saw this a few weeks ago. Like I was in shock about the whole thing. I was like, "Whoa!" I remember a lot of this stuff, because I don't have memory problems that much. I kind of don't remember my childhood that much, just because I don't have such a vital, you know, like I don't think about it a lot because there's just not a lot in my life that is related to my childhood, and I don't. I feel like my inner self was very hidden in my childhood, so I just don't feel much about it. I feel like I wasn't there in my childhood, and I think in a lot of ways I had sort of dissociated for long periods of time. Like I actually remember my time with my grandparents quite a bit more than I remember my childhood in my town where my parents were, just because wasn't a lot for me there. It's just I think there wasn't a lot for me anywhere at that point in time. I'm very much like well, anyways. Yeah. I also yeah, I remember the hearing test, even the regular one, feeling something weird about it, but I don't know. Maybe I was just sensing something with those machines I saw. Um, maybe some kind of hypnotic thing made me forget a lot of things, and actually I did as much as other people did. But I kind of wonder if the gate program, once like later in the 2000s and stuff, if it kind of got became a lot less like uh you know they weren't teaching kids like foreign languages and stuff like that, like some people say, but they're just monitoring. I don't know. Anyways, well, that's my experience with the gate program that I ought to get on and tell some stuff. So